All right, we're gonna do in-town autopilot. This is not full self-driving. This is autopilot. Let's see how it performs. Stalk down one time for cruise control. Double tap. We on autopilot. Feet up, not touching anything. Look at there. It's just driving. It's driving on its own. And this is the autopilot. Now that right there, that's usually the little camera. Let me show you first. Okay, the car is stopping on its own. Look, stopping on its own. I'm not doing that. The car is stopping on its own, and it's gonna take off on its own as well. But that little sign, that little popped up, the little hand, little red hands, it's a camera right here. And I tell you, that camera can see what you're doing. And I'm holding my phone while I'm recording. And as soon as I put the phone kind of up to the middle, and I'm looking at the road, I'm not even looking at the phone. It thinks I'm looking at the phone, like distracted driving. So what it do is it to say, hey, put your hands on the wheel. Is basically what it's saying. So when you hear that in your Tesla, you don't always have to be alarmed. It's not something that's going on. It's not a car that's on the way to hit you. That's generally the distractive driving warning. And that'll happen too, like if you was eating something, or even if you kind of look down, to your left or to your right, it's going to know that you put your head down. Now, I'm not doing anything. This car is going to take off on its own. Now, you're probably saying, well, I thought that was full self-driving. I see. I thought that was full self-driving. No, it's not full self-driving. If you're behind a car, it will stop at a stoplight, okay? It will stop at a stoplight if you're behind the car. And you can increase your max speed by rolling the wheel up here. So we just increased our max speed up by rolling the wheel here. So we're on autopilot, not full self-driving. If there was not a vehicle in front of me, okay, I know, it thinks I'm looking at the phone. If there was not a vehicle in front of me, it would not have stopped at the red light. But it would have been flashing and making noises for me to stop. It's not gonna just go through the red light. It knows that it's a red light, but it's gonna tell you, hey, guy, girl, you need to stop at the red light. Flowing right in traffic, as you can see. Yeah, it's not liking me doing that. But these are just some comforts that you have when you have a Tesla. You can comfortably, rest your feet. I got my hands on my knees, what I'm saying, if I wasn't holding the phone recording. And you just go on with the flow of traffic. And you can increase your speed. Again, I rolled up the wheel, so the speed limit is 60, and that's the max that is set for me, that I set for myself right there. And we're rolling. No hands on the steering wheel. You're driving. Autopilot. So this is autopilot, not full self-driving. The autopilot is free on your Tesla. So the question is often asked, should I pay? Currently, it's $12,000 for the full self-driving. My answer right now would be no. You don't need to pay the $12,000 and finance it with the car, or if you're cash out with the car $12,000. Second reason is because they have a subscription plan that you can pay $200 a month. Now, me personally, that's what I like to use, because I really only get the full use of currently full self-driving on a road trip. So I turn it on when I go on a road trip. So when I drove from North Carolina up to Massachusetts, I wanted full self-driving. When we went down to Disney with the family, full self-driving. When we left Maryland, coming back to North Carolina, I turned it on again. So those are just 3 different times that I turned it on. And you can do it for 30 days. You're not locked into a contract. So you can turn it on and immediately cut it off, and it'll expire at the end of the 30-day period. So we're still on full self-driving. That truck in front of me, as it slows down, my speed slows down. As it applies the brakes, my car slows down. And this is autopilot, not full self-driving. So another thing look at it, it's stopping like it's supposed to. Another thing on the full self-driving, you can have it set to lane change for you. Now, I don't mind changing my own lanes. You just have to reset autopilot, once you get into a new lane. Cruise control will still stay active if you use your turn signal and get into another lane, but you'll just have to reset your autopilot. And I'm okay doing that. At saving the money that I'm saving by not putting $12,000 right out the gate into the full self-driving. Now, that also means that you can't do the summons. If you don't know what summons is, I got some videos on summons as well. That's when you can be standing in the parking lot and you can open up your phone app and the car will come to where you're standing, as long as it's a clear path. But the autopilot feature, is it sufficient? I say yes.